Greetings, friend. This is Chuck Broquet from Salt in the Valley. Hey, do you like mysteries? Well, there are mysteries here in the Book of Mormon, like looking into Ether 3 to ask, whose finger is this? Well, the stonemaker in the chapter knows, but wait, then he doesn't know. And a mystery within a mystery is to ask, who is Christ? Or who is the Anointed One, the Jewish Messiah? Well, the prophets of old didn't know after poring over the Hebrew Scriptures because Christ is not named in the Old Testament. But these Jaredites from the Tower of Babel, they knew all about him. Back to the future. Why know about Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Jerusalem? Most of us are not going to believe this, but let's hear from these ancient prophets in the Book of Mormon. Stonemaker requests in Ether 3:4, for the benefit of man, therefore touch these stones, O Lord, with thy finger. Well, verse 6, the veil was taken from off the eyes of the brother of Jared, and he saw the finger of the Lord, and it was the finger of a man like unto flesh and blood. So a finger like flesh and blood. So this stonemaker confesses in verse 8, I saw the finger of the Lord, but then I knew not that the Lord had flesh and blood. Well, he knew God has a finger. He didn't know the finger was a finger of flesh and blood. Mormonism does not like to recognize the biblical figures of speech. Dr. Walter Martin said, if the Mormons are to be consistent in their interpretation, they should find great difficulty in the psalm where God is spoken of as covering with his feathers, and man trusting under his wings. If God has eyes, ears, arms, hands, nostrils, mouth, etc., why then does he have feathers and wings? The Mormons have never given a satisfactory answer to this, because it is obvious that the anthropomorphic and metaphorical usage of terms relative to God are literary devices to convey his concern for and association with man. In like manner, metaphors such as feathers and wings indicate his tender concern for the protection of those who dwell in the secret place of the Most High and abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The Mormons would do well to comb the Old Testament and the New Testament for the numerous metaphorical usages readily available for observation. In so doing, they would have to admit, if they are at all logically consistent, that Jesus is not the door, John 10:9, a shepherd, John 10:11, a vine, John 15:1, a roadway, John 14:6, a loaf of bread, John 6:51, and other metaphorical expressions, any more than our God is a consuming fire, means that Jehovah should be construed as a blast furnace or a volcanic cone. So from verse 20, this stonemaker had this perfect knowledge of God. You know, before dropping off into the ocean with a barn load full of animals, he'd better know God. But a man from 2500 BC knowing Jesus Christ, that God had a finger? It doesn't look good. John 17:3 says, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent.